For a limited time, you can get 6 months of unlimited local news access for only $2 at duluthnewstribune.news/deal. We are honoring World Press Freedom Day, and along with this deal, we are giving you free access to our news website for 24 hours on May 3rd, so you can experience the critical role local news plays in keeping you informed. If you'd like to stay connected to your community with unlimited access every day, subscribe now to get 6 months of local news for only $2. Visit duluthnewstribune.news/deal now before this deal ends on May 5th. That's duluthnewstribune.news/deal. Hello Northlanders, it's Tuesday, May 2nd. I'm Wyatt Buckner with your Duluth News Tribune Minute, presented by Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union.
The average MPECU member saves over $785 a year in better rates and lower fees. And with MPECU, every ATM is your ATM. With their free checking program, you get ATM fee reimbursements at any ATM anywhere in the U.S. Check out Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union's services online at mpecu.com or visit their offices in downtown Duluth, Arrowhead Road, or Miller Trunk Highway.
Now here's a look at today's headlines. Duluth's housing market remained tight in 2022, though less than the previous year in places. The city released its annual housing indicator report late last week, and it showed the local vacancy rate for rental housing rising from 2% in 2021 to 3.5% in 2022. A vacancy rate of about 5% is usually considered the sign of a healthy market, and some sorts of rentals were especially tough to come by. For instance, the vacancy rate for one-bedroom apartments in Duluth was just 1.9% last year, based on a citywide survey. The cost of homeownership in Duluth continues to rise as well, with the median price of a house climbing from $240,000 to $260,000 in 2022, an 8.3% increase. Duluth continues to make progress toward increasing its housing inventory, gaining 176 net units in 2022 and 1,183 since 2019. But that's far from the mark set by Maxfield Research and Associates, a firm that estimated in 2019 Duluth would need an additional 3,600 units of affordable housing by 2024 to meet local demand. Many Duluth residents struggle to afford a place to stay. Generally speaking, housing is considered affordable if it consumes no more than 30% of household income. With the average monthly rent of a one-bedroom apartment sitting at $861 last year, a person earning the state's minimum hourly wage of $10.59 would need to work 63 hours per week to afford such housing, and 80 hours a week to afford a two-bedroom unit, with an average monthly rate of $1,099. Homeownership is even less attainable for a large segment of the local population, especially in the face of rising interest rates. The housing report estimates the average monthly mortgage payment on a $260,000 home would be about $1,628. To support such a purchase, a homeowner would need to pull in $65,120 annually. Duluth's median household income rose to $58,014 in 2022. Over the previous 5 years, the earning power of a typical Duluth household has increased 18.2%. But the city's residents continue to earn less than 75% of the state median income of $77,720. Maurice has recently laid off 24 employees in its corporate offices and field leadership positions. The reduction in force was announced April 18th. The cut represents 5% of the company's home office and field leadership population. Challenging market conditions and the overall macroeconomic environment contributed to the decision, according to a statement from the company. All impacted associates were offered a severance package including salary and benefits continuation, Sue Ross, Chief Human Resources Officer, said. The news came as a surprise to Dan Meyer, who worked as a corporate tax technician at Maurice's for just under 2 years. Meyer was working from home when he was notified by the head of his department via Zoom call that his position was being eliminated. He said there was no warning that it would happen, and called the severance package, quote, lackluster at best, end quote. Maurice's is a Duluth-based women's apparel retailer with more than 1,000 stores, including 49 in Minnesota and 50 in Wisconsin, according to its website. Maurice's was previously owned by Ascena Retail Group until it was purchased by Op Capita in 2019. Roger Reinert announced Monday he will not seek the DFL endorsement in his campaign for mayor, challenging the incumbent candidate Emily Larson, who is seeking a third term, presumably again on the DFL ticket. Reinert said Duluthians know him for who he is. The candidate was first elected in 2004 to the Duluth City Council, and was elected in 2008 to the Minnesota House of Representatives, and then in 2010 to the Minnesota Senate, where he served 2 terms. A mayoral primary is scheduled for August 8th, with the top 2 vote-getters slated to then square off in the general election in November. So far, Larson and Reinert are the only 2 candidates to have launched campaigns. Now here's a look at your forecast, brought to you by the News Tribune's Northlandia podcast.
Today's weather forecast for the greater Duluth area, sunny to partly cloudy today with a high in the lower 50s, but a stout north wind around 15 to 25 with local gusts, especially around the lake, as high as 40 miles an hour. Temperatures, of course, will be colder on the Wisconsin shoreline where the wind will be coming off the water. For tonight, mostly clear, diminishing winds with temps dropping to near 30. And then for Wednesday, partly sunny, not as windy with a high temperature in the 50s. Second half of the week will bring some scattered light showers. I'm Storm Tracker meteorologist John Wheeler.
Thank you to the Northlandia podcast for their support. The weekly podcast explores curious and unique stories here in the Northland. In the latest episode, arts and entertainment reporter Jay Gabler takes us inside a Lake Superior beachside cottage bookstore that's more than just a pretty space. You can find that episode and others at duluthnewstribune.news or wherever you also get this podcast. Reporting for today's episode was done by Peter Passy and Brielle Bredston. Thank you for listening to the Duluth News Tribune Minute. Have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.